Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all you beautiful people. Welcome back to Yanni Does It. I'm Yanni, of course. And today is my SURGIVERSSARY. Whoop, whoop. Yesterday was my SURGIVERSSARY. And I was excited about that. I didn't get to finish recording because it was like really windy, and by the time I got home, I wasn't in the mood. Here comes the wind again. But so about my surgery. So I got the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and that was on July 10th of last year, 2017. It took about 4 months from the time I inquired about it to up until approval for surgery. That's about how long it took. So I had to get a physical, like a thorough physical, like a EKG and everything, blood work, all that stuff. I had to get a psych eval. I had to go to a pre-op class and a post-op class. And that was pretty much it as far as the requirements. Dietary wise, I only had to go on a liquid fast for 24 hours. And all of that will really just depend on your insurance. I happen to have one of the more lenient insurances. So I didn't have to do too much in terms of, like, I've heard that people have to try to lose weight on their own for 6 months and things of that nature. But I didn't have to do that because of my insurance. So my psych eval process was very interesting. I went for my psych eval. I think I went for my first one in like February or something like that. And I was denied. Because the person evaluating me felt that admitted to having a binge eating disorder, so to speak. You know, I was just filling out the paperwork, and it asked, you know, is there any issues? And so I wanted to be as honest as possible. So I put, you know, that I binge eat, which if you're overweight, for the most part, I think most of us do. I mean, maybe I shouldn't jump to that conclusion, but I know a lot of us do if we're overweight, if we're trying to get the surgery. Just my hypothesis. But anyway, so I put that on, you know, the little form that we have to fill out. And he's like, you know, I want you to get a handle on that first. Come back in a month and we'll take it from there. So in my first visit with him, I told him how much I weighed. And I don't even remember. I think I might have told him like I was like 295. So then I come back from my visit, and he has me get on the scale, and I'm like 2 pounds up from what I stated before. Mind you, he didn't weigh me before, but he weighs me the second time after, and he denies me again. So I'm seeing a therapist at this time, and I tell my therapist, like, what happened, and she's like, you know, I definitely don't agree with him. I think you'd be a good candidate for it. I think honestly, he was just worried, and rightfully so. Looking back, I actually see exactly where he was coming from, because the place where I'm at now in terms of having control over my mind and not only overeating, but the kinds of things that I'm putting in my body, it took me a while to get here. And I could see why he denied me. But at any rate, I was determined to get this surgery because I made up my mind. So I went to another person. I went to another therapist, and thankfully, she approved me. And it was funny because she was like, she was like, I'm really against this surgery. I really do think that, change takes place in the mind. A lot of my patients who get this surgery, they come back to me and they have to take medicine because it's really, an obsessive compulsive, eating disorder that they're battling, and blah, 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 blah. But thankfully she approved me, and I totally got where she was coming from, because again, weight loss is a mental. You can get the surgery and you can lose the weight, but if you're not in a mental space where you're not figuring out why you're overeating, or you're just not doing the background work you need to do in order to overcome your issues with weight, it's going to eventually catch up with you. I feel like for me, I got the surgery and I was blessed that I kind of like woke up, before it was too late, before I lost weight and then started to regain. I lost 80 pounds. And I say I lost 80 pounds with the surgery because I stalled at a certain point, and then I started to pick up my weight loss when I did keto. So I attribute my 80-pound weight loss to surgery. But at any rate, yeah, I stalled. I stalled at a certain point, and if I didn't get the surgery, more than likely what would happen is what always happens to me. I lose weight and then regain, lose weight and then regain. So the one thing I say that the surgery benefited me with was it gave me that buying time to really adopt a mindset that would create change and lasting change. And so when it comes to surgery, I do think that it's very beneficial for someone who struggled with weight for a long time. But I do think that you definitely need to do some groundwork. You definitely need to go to therapy. You definitely need to be, doing some self-reflection and figuring out what's going on with me. How did I get to this point in the first place? Because sooner or later, those problems can come back. Weight regain after surgery is real and statistical. It can happen, and 5-10 pounds is fine, I guess, but anything past that, it's just like, did you get the what did you go under the knife for, or okay, fine, you're not going under the knife. What did you get the laparoscopics for? And have your, stomach, have these things in your stomach for, if you're going to go right back to where you were, so the groundwork definitely needs to be done. So for post-op, I had to learn my new stomach, and it was a 6-week phase. It's a 6-week phase that you go through. The first 2 weeks are liquids. The second 2 weeks are pureed food, and the third 2 weeks are what they call soft foods, like soft proteins, like flaky fish and things of that nature. So the first 2 weeks, I stayed in my room. I hardly left the house because I felt like all I'm gonna do is go out and see food I can't have. And that pretty much pissed me off. So I stayed in the house for the first 2 weeks. I only left the house like one time. And I was so happy once that first 2-week phase was over, because I could start to have, some, food of more substance besides, just clear liquids, which was rough. But I got through it, and so I was a little bit happier with the second phase, and I was like over the moon with the third phase, because I could have my eggs and, all the other stuff you could have with the third phase. And as far as pain, I wasn't in too much pain. Let me rephrase that. I took extra strength Tylenol because there were times where I was in pain, but it wasn't to the point where it was so unbearable. Like, I refuse to take the Percocets just because I know that that's a highly addictive medication, and I just didn't want to make myself susceptible to that. So I refused to take the Percocets, but I took extra strength Tylenol. So as far as pain, on a scale of like 1 to 10, I would say like the first 4 weeks, maybe like a 4 or 5. Like, every time I would try to move or get out of bed, I would definitely be in pain. But then coming on like the 5th and the 6th week of healing, I really hardly had any pain. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say my pain was like a 2. I was just uncomfortable at times. They recommend that you walk, after surgery, that you try to walk, every day. And like I said, those first 2 weeks I stayed in my room, so I hardly walked. But definitely the 3rd week I started to walk every day, and it felt good, and my body started to feel better. So I would say my healing process was pretty decent. It was, for me, it was more of a mental thing. Just being upset and pissed that I couldn't move the way I wanted to move, and I couldn't eat the way I wanted to eat. So as far as stats goes, my highest weight was 297. My surgery weight was 288. And I am currently 199. So that's a total of 97 pounds for my highest weight, and about 88 from my surgery weight. So, but as I mentioned before, during after surgery, my weight loss was very I had a lot of stalls, and honestly, it's just because of the way that I was eating. Eating junk. I was still, drinking a lot of alcohol, and so that, caused me to stall ever so often. But in addition to me stalling, I do observe that when it comes to my body and my weight loss, I always lose inches first. So I would definitely say, in the inches department, I've lost a lot of inches. Large in pants. I'm about a medium to a large in dresses. I got a small the other day in a dress, but I really just think it ran big. And I am about a 12. I'm about a 12. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And In the next video, I'll be getting more into the keto lifestyle, how I've been doing on that. And so I hope to see you soon, and love you.